process that I go over. That way we can see some more income from our driving instead of these companies, these apps taking such a large percentage of every order. You can get contracted with courier companies and see some more money from your driving. So I'm going over all the steps beginning to end. We actually have a courier business. You could go to our page and see that we do this in real life. We have a legit courier business. That's why I'm able to get up here and give valuable information. I don't gatekeep. I don't hold back. I try to answer every question, comment, and concern. So I appreciate y'all for being here. We're going to go from the top. The only requirements to be a courier at the base level is that you are at least 21 years old. You have a valid driver's license, insurance, valid registration, and a decent driving record. What is considered a decent driving record does depend on the company. Some of them will say no more than 5 infractions within the past 3 years. Some of them will say no more than 3 infractions within the past 3 years. It just depends on the company. Some are more strict, some are more lenient. I cannot give blanket statements for all courier companies. They are their own business. They have their own set of rules. Their requirements will be in the contract description. We're going to look at a contract a bit later. Okay, after I get through this. So make sure you have full coverage. Make sure you have no DUIs, no DWIs within the past 7 years, and you should be all right. Okay. Now, number 2. Use the vehicle time insurance you have available. If that is a sedan, if it's an SUV, a minivan, a pickup truck, or if you already have a cargo van, then use whatever vehicle you have. The bigger the vehicle, the bigger the income potential, but don't get caught up in that. When we started in our Kia Forte. That's what we had. We weren't looking into financing a van at that point. And honestly, we just saw this as a side hustle. We weren't expecting this to turn into a legit business. We just wanted to make ends meet when we started back in 2023. This wasn't something that we thought would turn into a legit business. So if you're just looking to make a couple extra $100, if you don't know if this is fully for you, but you know that you want to make some extra money, that's fine. I'm not telling you you have to make this a legit business and take this all the way. If you just need to make some extra income, because one stream of income, we know, y'all, how these jobs let people go in a heartbeat. One stream of income in this economy is too close to none. So if you know that, you need some extra money, another stream of income, get into this, because this is something that's going to be around. How do you get set up? Giovanni, thank you for being here. I'm going through the whole process right now. We'll look at a contract. I'll go over how to apply. I'm not a gatekeeper, so you rock with me. I got you. Okay. So any vehicle to get started. Like I said, we started in a Kia Forte. It doesn't matter what type of vehicle you start with. Thank you. Now, the time aspect of this, you could be part-time or full-time. You don't have to make this a full-time thing, leave your job, and now you're a full-time courier. You could do that if that's what you want to do. But I always suggest make sure you like this. Make sure we understand the process of securing these contracts. Make sure you decide what your goals are for this industry. Do you want to maybe eventually hire drivers? Do you want to turn this into a family business like we did? Do you want to make this a legit thing, or are you okay with just leaving this as a side hustle? Decide what your goals are. Okay. So part-time or full-time, start part-time, get a feel for it. Okay. You're not risking anything. You're still staying at your job. You still have your paycheck that you can rely on. You don't feel as if you're diving in too deep and now you're panicking because you bit off more than you could chew. Okay. Thank you, Fighting for Tranquility. Thank you for liking and following. I appreciate you. So start at the base level, y'all. Start part-time. Okay. There are plenty of part-time opportunities. There are plenty of on-call opportunities. We started on-call with the company called T-Force Logistics. This was a medical contract. Then we got with the company called Pace Runners. This was an auto parts contract. So from the very beginning, this is in a Kia Forte, we were diversifying our income. Yeah, we had the medical contract, but we also had an auto parts contract. There's way too many types of cargo out here, y'all, for us to focus only on being a medical courier. When you do that, you're leaving thousands on the table. Everybody has hopped on that medical courier bandwagon. I'm not saying it's impossible, but if I'm coming in as a rookie, I would keep my options open. That way, maybe I can see longevity in this game and I'm not limiting myself to one tiny oversaturated sector of transportation. Okay. So if you talk to people that are actually in transportation and logistics, they probably don't even know what a medical courier is. And I'm not trying to be funny, but it's just like there's so much cargo that has to be moved. That's irrelevant in the grand scheme. Okay, you could do that, but just keep your options open. So any vehicle, anytime. Now the insurance, you need full coverage, y'all, full coverage. Okay, now there are contracts that will require commercial, and so for those contracts you would have to have commercial, or you could stay at the base level with companies like T-Force and Pace didn't require commercial, or you could get on apps like Roadie, Freight, whatever. Number 3, HIPAA and bloodborne pathogen. Let's talk about this. Y'all, 300 something people in here. Y'all got to talk to me if I'm going to drop these gems, if I'm not going to be a gatekeeper, because I don't. Y'all got to talk to me. Let's light this live up. I don't gatekeep. I don't feed y'all breadcrumbs of information, but y'all got to talk to me, okay? Thank y'all for being here. Number 3, HIPAA and bloodborne pathogen. This is teaching us how to keep patient information confidential. I'm going through number 3 right now, my girl Jess. Thank you. So this is teaching you how to keep patient information confidential and how to safely transport biohazard materials. So this is assisting us on the medical side of deliveries. So y'all know about the pharmacies, the hospitals, the doctor's offices, the nursing homes. Don't forget about the vet clinics, y'all. Animals get labs transported. They get medication as well. So on the medical side, you are learning how to keep patient information safe and how to safely transport these types of materials to protect yourself and to protect these materials so that they get from point A to point B safely. Those of you in the medical field, you already know HIPAA, okay? Even if you're just a patient, you know HIPAA, okay? So this is the training. You look it up online. You could go through 360. You could go through Integrity Delivers. Whoever pulls up, y'all, this is an online certification and you'll be done in like 30 minutes or less. And now you have HIPAA and bloodborne. In the grand scheme though, y'all, this is not what I would focus on. Okay. This is assisting you only on the medical side when I'm telling y'all there's so much cargo to be transported. Auto parts, like I said, legal documents. You don't have to be a notary to transport all types of legal documents. Liquor delivery. I told y'all auto parts, even flowers have to be delivered. You have a florist in your area, make sure you're marketing to all businesses. They have mail being delivered. They have packages being delivered. This is how we've delivered for Home Depot. We're not directly contracted with Home Depot. We're contracted with the company that's contracted with Home Depot. So I'm telling y'all, courier work runs so deep. Everything has to get from point A to point B. If you look around your house, you look around your job. Everything had to be transported to get to where it is. Whether you picked it up from the store or whether it was delivered directly to you, it had to be delivered. That's what makes our world go round, okay? So I'm not going to limit myself in an industry like this. I'm going to keep my options open. Whatever's paying me, I'm going to take it. We have no business being picky as a beginner courier, okay? Because the truck drivers aren't being picky. They don't give a damn what they're transporting as long as they're getting paid, okay? Wow, Jess, you see how I'm already dropping gems, Jess? You see how I'm not up here gatekeeping y'all? Okay, so let's get through the rest. And we just started the live. So if y'all rock with me, I'm going to rock with y'all. But if y'all going to be quiet and shy on me, then I don't know. Good morning, Miss Monique. No, Montague. Miss Montague. I said it again. I'm in the right place, most definitely. Thank y'all for being here. So HIPAA and bloodborne, get it if you want it, but don't get an auto parts contract and say, hey, by the way, I have HIPAA and bloodborne. It's not going to assist you. If you get a TWIC card so that way you're able to deliver to the secured facilities like the airports, the shipyards, don't go tell them, oh, I have HIPAA and bloodborne, okay? This is helping you on the medical side. Good morning, Miss Ava. Good morning from Ohio. Hey, Miss Vicky. Okay, so number 4, when it's time to apply, anywhere that you look for courier contracts is where you're going. Anywhere you look for jobs is where you're going to look for courier contracts. That means if you look on Indeed, if you look on ZipRecruiter, you're going to look for these opportunities online, but don't just look for online opportunities. Make sure you're tapping into your market. So you know the businesses that you have in your area, go introduce yourself in your business, okay? Thank you, Speed, for liking the live. Thank you, Jess, for liking the live. I appreciate y'all for showing love. Thank you. So just make sure you're introducing yourself. You're sending an email at the very least. And don't be afraid, y'all. Even Firestone, y'all know Firestone. It's a franchise. You go get your vehicle worked on, an oil change, whatever. They work with independent contractors in your personal vehicle. We didn't know this. We were going to get an oil change on one of our vans. This was after we moved on from the Kia. We're now in cargo vans. And they asked my fiance, hey, what do y'all do with those vans? And he was like, oh, we have a courier business. And she was like, oh, really? There's people that come in their car and they deliver for us. So you don't know unless you open up your mouth, even though we weren't the ones to ask for the information. It was offered to us. But I'm saying you never know because we're not thinking about that. We're just going through life, not realizing delivery is an integral part of every single industry. You couldn't do your job right now if it wasn't for transportation. All this material, supplies, equipment that you use on a day-to-day, if it wasn't able to be transported, you wouldn't be able to use it. Do you have to have an LLC and an EIN? For certain contracts, you will have to have an LLC and an EIN. There are plenty of contracts at the base level. I gave y'all a few already that you don't have to have an LLC. You don't have to have an EIN. Now, once you get that first contract and you start doing this and you don't have a boss breathing down your neck and you have peace of mind, if you need to be off, you could be off. If you have a family emergency, there's nobody to tell you what to do. Thank you, Beauty, for liking the live. You are your own boss in this thing. It gives you peace of mind that I've never had at a job, y'all. I worked for Geico until May of this year. Okay, and I was not looking to leave Geico. But when I saw, because my fiance, he had been doing this, he's been the one driving on his own. I secure the contracts. I, advertise. I, at this stage, onboard drivers. I do the administrative work. But he's always been the one driving. It wasn't until this year that he kept saying, y'all, come into the business full time. Come into the business full time. And I kept saying, no. I'm not leaving a Fortune 500 company for some nonsense. Okay. But this year, the money started making sense. Okay. It started making sense. And so I left, y'all. There is no price tag on your peace of mind. I'm just telling you that. Okay. So if you've been stressed behind a job, if you know that something is calling you to something more, then make that change, because if not, nothing's going to happen. Thank you, Tractor Trailer. I appreciate you. God, I just knew I had more potential than sitting behind a desk for 10 hours of my day, because I work 10-hour shifts. I just knew I had more potential than that. Okay, that part. All right, so let's look at a contract, y'all, because I could talk about it, but when we put eyes on it, it's a bit more, easy to understand, because this is not complicated, y'all. This is delivery. Put a 1 in the chat if you've been on DoorDash, if you've ever done DoorDash, Uber, Spark, Lyft, Flex, any of those. Thank you, Tractor Trailer. Thank you, Kimmy Cakes. I like that name. Good morning, Queen. Okay, Lonnie, Nisha. Let me see. Miss 4463, Jess, Jay, Debo, Tamika, Jamie Lynn, Harry. Okay, so all of y'all have been on these apps. Soka Gal. Okay, good morning. All right, cool. So y'all have the experience. Y'all know how to get things from point A to point B. Even if you haven't been on these apps, you get yourself from the house to your job every day. You get your kids from the house to the school, from the school to the house, from the school to McDonald's. Y'all know how to get things from point A to point B. You do it every day. So this is not rocket science, okay? Thank you, Debo. Thank you, Yahweh. Thank you. So y'all can do this, okay? And when I show you this contract, it's going to show you that this is not anything complicated. Your job is much more complicated than, I've transported kids, exactly. Your job is much more complicated than delivery, y'all. We get things from point A to point B all the time, all day, every day, okay? So I'm right on Google, Courier Contracts Atlanta. If you're in a big city like Atlanta or Charlotte or Philly or St. Louis or Chicago, okay, these major cities, not necessarily big, but y'all get what I'm saying. They're big known cities, okay? In these cities, there's going to be plenty for you online. Now, those of us in smaller areas like me, I'm not in Atlanta. We're in Middle Georgia, but I have to use Atlanta as an example because if I put my city in Middle Georgia right here, we would find barely any opportunities online. But yet we still have retail businesses. We still have body shops, dealerships, collision centers. We have pharmacies, hospitals, vet clinics, nursing homes. We have a airport even here in Middle Georgia. So the courier work is being done. It's just that in the smaller areas, they're not advertising this work on Indeed online, y'all. They're still old school, and you still got to go and advertise and market just like any other business. You have to go introduce yourself. So if you're in a smaller area like us and you don't see much online, that doesn't mean that courier work is not being done. It just means you got to go the old school route. Okay. Now, if you're in the big city, then there's plenty for you online. Okay. Now let's get into this. Okay. This is a mayorship parcel delivery. This says Atlanta, Georgia. But we scroll down and see that they're a nationwide courier company across multiple states. They're in Texas, Oklahoma, Arizona, Missouri, Kansas, Florida, Colorado, Georgia, and Illinois. Okay, so they're not just in Georgia. A lot of these companies are like this. They have established their clients. They deliver throughout the country. You will deliver for their clients throughout the country. Okay. Just like Home Depot, we've delivered for Home Depot. That is a franchise business that is where in probably each and every single one of our states, Home Depot, there's a Home Depot. Okay. So let's get into this. This is how much this particular contract pays. Now, once you've been doing it, you'll know where you lie within this range, what volume you can handle, you know, how quickly you're getting this stuff done. Now, there's no taxes coming out of this up front. The full amount, no matter, you know, let's say you're in the 800 range, that 800 will come into your account on a weekly basis, no taxes coming out up front. Okay, so you won't be taxed until it's time for tax season as a 1099 contractor. This is why it's crucial to keep a record of your expenses, your gas, your maintenance, your oil changes. You get a new tire. You get some supplies to help you out on the road. You grab a sandwich while you're on the road. That's your lunch. Every cost incurred by your courier work is a deduction when it's time for tax season. That's why if you keep your records, tax season is nothing to fear. You have plenty of expenses in this game, okay? So that being said, this is one contract, y'all. The whole goal is stacking contracts. So we don't get caught up in the pay, y'all. The pay only matters in relation to the workload. The pay on its own means nothing. This could be a 2-hour route. And so then you're saying, oh, that pay is nothing. Meanwhile, it's the hours, y'all. It's the workload. How long are you out there? The pay by itself means nothing. Okay. When we were with Pace Runners, that's how it was. It was broken up into loops. You were delivering auto parts. You were going from one advanced auto to another advanced auto. It was broken up into 2 loops. The first loop was 2 hours long. The second loop was 2 hours long. You can decide if you want to do both loops or if you just wanted to do one. So do y'all see how a lot of things can be on the part-time level? But there's a lot of things that are on the full-time level for those that want to be full-time. Okay, it just depends. And you can always ask the company to be on call. Hey, would you mind if I'm just on call? Okay. Now, as an independent contractor, this is how you decide which contracts you accept, which ones you respectfully decline. You don't have to take on every opportunity that you're considered for. Just like they tell tons of people no, we can respectfully tell them no as well. Okay, you could have your kid in the car with you. You could ride with your brother, your cousin, your mother, your sister, whoever. Okay, they don't care as long as you get that cargo where it needs to be. That's what they care about. Now, we're going to skim through this contract. Y'all can look at it on your own time. But let's just see. Drivers should be highly energetic, competent, self-motivated. We have that. Be punctual, be reliable. They don't play about this. A lot of this cargo is time sensitive, y'all. So you must be punctual and reliable. You have to have some delivery experience. So unless you have a courier resume, you won't be considered. You have to have a courier resume. That's how they know that you've done this before on some scale, whether that's been on an app like DoorDash or you've been an Uber driver. They need to see that you know how to get things from point A to point B safely. Okay. You got to have a smartphone. We all have a smartphone, be able to lift 50 pounds or have a dolly or a cart to help you out. They prioritize this type of experience, y'all, but they'll consider everyone. They're saying all applicants will be considered. Have a valid license, up-to-date insurance. It says nothing about commercial. Be 21 years old, have a reliable cargo sprinter or SUV, but there's plenty of contracts for a sedan. I gave you T-Force, I gave you Pace. They work with sedans. Even a mayorship works with sedans. They're just not looking for sedans at this moment in Atlanta, y'all. Courier needs are constantly changing. So don't get caught up in what's not what you don't meet the requirements for, we move on. We got to keep it moving, keep the ball rolling, y'all. There's thousands of contractors, thousands of businesses, okay? No DUI, no DWI within the past 10 years. They said 10 instead of 7. That's their right. They're their own business. Pass a background, be able to drive Monday through Friday, okay? Now, we've been through all of this. This pay depends on how many deliveries or pickups you're able to get done. You're paid on a weekly basis, typically direct deposit. No taxes coming out of this upfront, okay? So if I was wanting to apply to this opportunity after I've evaluated the contract on these third-party sites like Google or Indeed or ZipRecruiter, after I evaluate, I see if the time of day works for me. I see if the pay is going to work for me based on what they're saying in the contract description. If I meet the requirements that are in front of me and I want to actually proceed with applying, I would go directly to Ameriship's website. I would navigate to their opportunities on their direct website. And then I would apply with my Courier resume. Okay, because anybody can pay to list on Indeed, y'all. There's so much nonsense and BS on Indeed because I can go make a listing on Indeed. Our Courier business, they sent our business, Indeed. They just sent us a flyer in the mail for us to basically hire employees, make a listing on Indeed. So if we weren't a legit courier business, even though we are, but if they're just sending these things out, they're not, verifying this, if these businesses are legit or whatever, anybody could pay to list on Indeed. And so you don't know if what you're looking at is some nonsense, if it's some BS. And so you're applying and just wishing and hoping that that company got your application. Instead, I would go directly to Ameriship's website, find their opportunities, apply directly through the website, like I said, and then follow up, y'all. The money is in the follow-up, okay? The money is in the follow-up, I promise y'all. If you don't follow up, 9 times out of 10, you won't hear back from anybody. Unless that company is just really needing some help, you may see success without following up. But I'm telling you, if you want this money, if you're serious about stacking contracts, if you're serious about turning this into a legit source of income for yourself, make sure you follow up, okay? All right, y'all, please continue to like the live so I can keep dropping these gems. Can you do these routes with a 15-foot box truck? There's opportunities that are specifically for box trucks. That is not one of them. But yeah, you can find work in a box truck. Thank you, Debo, for liking the live. All right, y'all. Did that make sense? Thank you, PNG. Thank you, Speed. Thank you, Debo. I appreciate y'all. Does that make sense, or do I need to go back over anything? What's crucial is that Courier resume. Thank you, Miss Vicky. Thank you, Big Callie. That Courier resume is crucial. If we wouldn't apply to a job without a resume, you should never expect to be considered for a Courier contract without a resume. These are contracts that stay established until either of you decide to separate. So them as the Courier company or you as the independent contractor, as the Courier, okay? What are some reasons they will choose to separate? If you're dressed inappropriately, if you're not punctual, if you're not reliable, let's see, if you have an attitude with their clients, you are representing their company, even though you're not an employee of this company, at the end of the day, you are representing them. These people, their clients, they don't know that you're not an employee of this business. All they know is that you've been tasked to deliver this stuff. So as far as they know, you are an employee of this business. So you need to make sure that you're representing this company, well, okay? So make sure, you love being a medical courier, Big Callie. I love to see it. Just make sure you're showing up, put your best foot forward every day. And y'all, this is simple. It's just like, you do what you want to do. It's your car. Play whatever music you want to listen to. Have whoever in the car you want to have. Drive with your man, your brother, your cousin. Like I said, it doesn't matter. You have your peace of mind. So the least we could do is just show up professionally and just get the job done. All we're doing is picking up stuff and dropping it off. That is it. Okay? That's why people love, period. That's why people love the DoorDash and the Instacart. It's the convenience. You get to turn this on and off. You get to, make some money. But at the end of the day, these contracts can also be convenient. Find a contract within the time frame that you are available and make some money. What type of vehicle is more profitable or preferred. So the bigger the vehicle, the bigger the income potential. I will say that if we're saying one vehicle versus, another vehicle, the larger the vehicle, the more income potential, which is why we started in the Kia, but eventually we have now scaled into 2 cargo vans. But I will say, if you stack contracts in that Kia like we did, we were seeing good money in that Kia, y'all. In the Kia, you see that one contract paid $600 to $1,200 a week. Imagine you stack another one on top of that. That one did not require, they said, cargo, Sprinter, or SUV. There are contracts that are just like that work with sedans. So imagine you stack a second contract on top of the one that you already have. That's good money. Now, granted, you got to pay for your gas. We know this, but y'all, gas is not all this money. When people talk about, oh, but you're leaving out the expenses, y'all, expenses, first of all, you pay for your car note already. That's not an expense that's incurred by courier work, okay? Number 2, your insurance. If you don't already have full coverage, I work for Geico. I suggest everybody have full coverage, but if you don't, okay, you got to pay for full coverage. That's not too much of a big deal, all right? Number 3, gas. You are not spending thousands of dollars in gas. We run 350 miles sometimes a day in both of our cargo vans, right? They spend now, gas prices are different throughout the country. We're in Georgia, okay? But each week, $250 per van in gas, okay? Compared to what we're bringing in, that is nothing. We're in cargo vans, y'all. These are not fuel efficient vehicles. This is not a sedan. These are big boys, okay? And box trucks is going to be even more money, okay? You and your personal vehicle, I don't want to hear it about gas. I don't want to hear it, okay? So when people get caught up in expenses, it's very easy to talk yourself out of things. That's what we do. It's human nature. We can find 1,000,001 excuses. But if you're serious, if you want to do it, it's that simple. Get a gas card. Even if you need to get a gas card, eventually get a gas card. Okay. There's ways to, to pivot if you need to, or to make things work. All right. Don't automatically think about what's not going to work, y'all. Cause I'm telling you, I had every excuse in the book. I was a full-time college student while full-time at Geico. I just knew we needed some money at the end of the day. Okay. And we kept seeing this online. And I'm like, listen, if these people can do it, then we could do it. Okay. And that was back in 2022 when we were researching. And it wasn't everybody and their mama now is up here talking about stuff. Y'all, half of these people, they don't have a courier business. They don't do this in real life. They're up here and they give information. And that's why they feed y'all little breadcrumbs, because they don't have a courier business to get up here and give actual information. So I'm telling y'all, we saw this online just like y'all. We're no different than you. We bleed the same blood. We have the same 24 hours in a day. But if you focus on what you can't do, then you will never do it. Okay? Thank you, P&G. What year does the vehicle have to be? 2010 or newer. 2010 or newer is the base requirement. Okay? Y'all, make sure you're locking me in. We're almost at 10K likes. I really appreciate y'all for that. Thank you. Let me show y'all the cargo that we move, so I could put this into perspective. Like I said, a lot of people yap up here, but they don't even have a courier business. Thank you, Devo. I appreciate you. Renee, let me see what you said, Renee, before you go back to work. I have a full-time job. Is it possible to do it on the weekends or after work? Absolutely. You could be a weekend-only courier. There's a company called Artisan Direct. You get paid to go put up signs on the side of the road. It is weekends only. You can make up to $300 in a weekend. I need to be quiet. I need to start gatekeeping on y'all. Okay. Is commercial insurance required, or can you start with regular insurance? You can start with regular. There will be contracts that end up requiring commercial, and you could choose to go for those contracts, or you could choose to stay at the base level and not go for contracts that require commercial. Thank you, Big Cali. Okay. A mayorship, they didn't require commercial. The ones that I'm dropping are not companies that require commercial. Okay. Let's look at this, y'all. Artisan Direct, and they're nationwide, y'all, as far as I know. Okay. Thank you. Is it Kate? Thank you for the rose. I want to show y'all the journey, where we started and where we are now. Now, if y'all see me dropping gems on this live for free, and you know that you need a mentor, you know you need some assistance, you know you need someone's resume because you got to apply with a resume. Am I moving too fast? Y'all let me know. Am I moving too fast? Or did you just come in, Jada? Can you pick location? Yes. Y'all let me know. Do I need to slow it down? I will put the steps back on the screen and we'll go through it again. Okay. Once I go through this real quick. Okay. Let me show y'all the proof in the pudding. This is where we started in our Kia. Okay. See, just came in. You caught me. I know you just came in because I know I'm not going too fast, my girl. We've been through it. But thank you for coming in. Okay, I'm going to run it back. This is where we started with T-Force. Delivering to a nursing home. Okay. Now, I told y'all this company, we started on call and then eventually they moved us into a dedicated route. Here's me, my fiance, and our dog. Here he is right down here. Ace, tell him hey. Okay. So this is us. Remember, he is the one that is out there on a day-to-day delivering along with our drivers. I do the administrative work. Thank y'all for saying hey to my baby. I do the administrative work. I am the one that secures these contracts. I negotiate rates. I onboard drivers. If you're making so much money, why tell people isn't that competition? No, because y'all are not in my area. That's a great question, Kevin. Y'all are not in my area, so there's no way for you to affect our courier business unless you're directly in my city. And I know most of y'all are not in my city. Y'all are not in Middle Georgia. And even if you are, you probably are not going to put forth the effort that we do into this business. There are people that say that they want to do stuff and they never do it. They watch people on social media and they watch and they watch and they watch and they watch, and yet they never get in the field. They never get in the field. Okay? So that's why I get up here and I don't gatekeep, because most people are not going to do their part. Facts. Okay? So this is us delivering to Home Depot, printer paper and toilet paper. Going to the Home Depot. Now, like I said, we're not directly contracted with Home Depot. We're contracted with the company that's contracted with Home Depot. Y'all get in the room. Y'all join me. You will get this contractor. Okay. You'll get all of these companies. These are nationwide couriers. Here's our actual courier service. Our actual LLC wasn't established until December of 2023. So the whole time we were in our Kia, we didn't even have an LLC, y'all. We were 1099 when we were with T-Force, when we were with Pace, we were 1099 contractors, no LLC. Okay. When we got into the van, we got our LLC. All right. I was a top performer at Geico before I kicked them to the curb this year. And I do have my business degree. Your girl is exactly who she says she is. I don't got to get up here and talk about something that I don't know. Okay, so y'all can see we do this in real life. Go to my page or go to my backup page if you want to see some like SUV stuff. But day in and day out, we're delivering. Here's us with our vans. Let me show y'all a SUV route real quick, because I know most of y'all are in the smaller vehicles. Let's turn this up. Thank you, Miss Vicky. Do y'all see how small a lot of this stuff is? And nothing you're seeing is medical. The only thing you've seen medical is back with T-Force Logistics. Everything else, mostly auto parts or parcels and packages. Auto parts are paying. I keep telling y'all, but I don't know if y'all are listening. Auto parts are paying. Okay? Excuse me, y'all. I'm getting over a cold. Y'all can probably hear it. What do you do? I apologize. Just got here. We are couriers. We have a courier business. Okay, I know y'all want to see faces because I know how people get. Okay, that may not be you. Here we are, y'all. Okay, this is us. Good morning. All right, cool. Y'all get it. If I need to go even further, let me show y'all my man's location right now. Let's see where he's at because I'm nosy. Let's see where he is. Okay, he is all the way down in Baxley right now. He's in Baxley, Georgia, 2 hours and 5 minutes away from me. Getting to this money. All right. So if you're looking to tap in with somebody that does this in real life, I highly suggest you join the Big Money Team R2R. Okay, now it's not a requirement, but if you see all the gems that I've dropped for free on this live and you sell yourself short, you trick yourself out of your spot of joining my community, that's going to be on you. Because I promise you, I don't play with my people. Okay, I get my people securing contracts. You get all my information. You get direct access to me if you want it. And if not, that's cool too. Let's go through the steps for my new people that had came in. Wait, do you apply to deliver auto parts? Thought it was medical. So, my girl, that goes back to what I was saying earlier, Juju. So I know you weren't in here. We deliver everything. That's what you've been told by these people up here on TikTok. They teach y'all to be a medical courier because that's the hype, that's the buzz on TikTok. Most of these people don't have a courier business in real life. There's way too much cargo that has to be moved throughout our country for us to focus on being a medical courier. A courier is enough of a title. You can deliver the medical stuff as we have, but if it were me, I'm going to keep my options open. I could use that same car to deliver auto parts. I can use that same vehicle to deliver liquor. I could use that same vehicle to deliver legal documents. I could use that same vehicle to sign on and go to the airports and make money delivering to these airports get a twit car, get onto secured facilities, airport shipyards, make money that way. There is cargo that has to be moved all throughout our country, y'all. Not just on the medical side, on every side. Okay? So, that being said, I want to go through these steps. Truck Life knows you can deliver organs, even organs. Okay? I'm telling y'all. Big Cali knows even organs. Oh, you smart. Do you need anything specific to deliver liquor? You got to be 21. But that's it. 21 and everything under step number 1, but nothing more than that. Okay, let's go from the top. 21 years old, get with her family. Trust me. Thank you, Truck Life. I appreciate you. My people know that I don't play. Okay, if I don't play with your time on this live, why would I play with your money? I would never. And it's not hundreds of dollars, y'all. It's 65, and I'm gonna show y'all what's included after I go through this. 21 years old, valid license, registration, insurance, decent driving record. This is what's required at the base level to get started. Can it get more complicated when you go for even the higher paying contracts? Yes. Okay, I will show y'all a next level contract where they're going to ask more of you, so therefore they're going to pay more money. Okay, I got contracts because of the gems you drop. Thank you, Truck Life. I appreciate you, and shout out to you. Congrats to you. We're going to use the vehicle time insurance that you have available. Any type of vehicle, y'all. A sedan, a SUV, a minivan, a pickup truck. I showed y'all we have 2 cargo vans, still run our SUV. Every vehicle you have can be put to work. If you don't want to drive, you are not able to drive, or let's just say you just want to leave this to somebody, people in your family, you want to make passive income. As long as you know how to secure the contracts, you don't have to be the one driving. You get your LLC, you get your EIN, you get your business set up and structured. You can hire people as long as you know how to secure the contract. Y'all, this is how we brought our family on a part of the team, okay? They don't know how to look for career contracts. They don't know how to secure these opportunities, but they have the vehicle. They have the time available. Y'all know how many people are out of work right now. Okay, so we know how to secure the contracts. We bring them on. All the income comes to us and we pay them direct deposit. Okay, as 1099 contractors, we don't pay them any benefits, no health insurance and paid time off or none of that. They're still a 1099 contractor, but there are drivers. Okay, I teach that whole process. So let's go through the rest of number 2. Any time that you have available, part-time, full-time, solely up to you. Thank you, Juju. Thank you for liking the live. Thank y'all for 10K likes. Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all. Part-time or full-time. It doesn't matter. Thank you, PNG, because you've definitely been liking it up. Part-time or full-time. Y'all, if you want to be a weekend-only courier, you can do that. If you want to be an after-work-only courier, you can do that. An early morning courier, you can do that. If you want to just be on call with these companies, which means they call you when they need you. If you're available, you accept. And if not, you decline respectfully. You could do that as well. Okay? Now, insurance, you need full coverage. Now, there will be contracts that require commercial, but all the ones that I've given y'all today, they don't require commercial. Now, we're going to look at one that does require commercial, and I'm going to show y'all how much more they pay. But, of course, your expenses are going to be higher, but your income is going to be higher. So that's just, do you want to make that move or do you not want to make that move? Okay? Love your gems, Coach K. Thank you, Miss Vicky. Thank you for being here. Number 3, HIPAA and bloodborne pathogen. This is assisting you on the medical side of delivery. So this is teaching you how to keep patient information confidential and how to safely transport biohazard materials. On the medical side, if you have someone's bodily fluids, if you have someone's organs, thank you, Track the Trailer. If you have someone's organs, who said that earlier? Juju. Did Juju say something about organs? No. Who was it? No, Callie. Right? I don't know who said it. One of y'all. If you have someone's organs, you need to learn how to transport this kind of stuff. It needs to be kept properly. It was Callie. Okay. It needs to be kept properly. So this way you're preserving this stuff the way it should be, and it gets from point A to point B safely. So we're learning HIPAA, how to keep that patient's information safe, and how to keep these specimens, these materials safe in transport, and yourself, okay? So that's HIPAA and bloodborne. You could get it through Integrity Delivers. You could get it through 360. You could get it through whoever, okay? You get this training online. You're not sitting in a classroom. This is nothing to fear. The answers will be given to you, and if you miss something, look it up. Okay, this is not anything to fear, y'all. Now you have this training. Now you add this to your resume. This will assist you on the medical side, but not beyond that. So not for auto parts, not for liquor, not for anything else that I talked about. Even delivering flowers, y'all. Even edible arrangements deals with independent contractors. Those stat deliveries are serious. I'm telling y'all. Those deliveries, midnight, I remember those calls. It would be sometimes 10 p.m., 11 p.m., 12 in the morning, and you get a call, hey, can you run this up to Atlanta? Can you run this up? Yeah. Okay, because when I say that money is good, y'all. Okay? Either way, decide what you want to do. Do you want to tag team this with someone? Are you going to get in with your brother, your cousin, whoever? Are you going to do it alone? Either way, figure out your game plan. Number 4, when it's time to apply, you need to apply with the Courier resume. This is crucial. Without a Courier resume, and notice I'm saying Courier resume, I'm not saying a regular resume. They don't need to see if you worked in insurance like I did. They don't care to see it. If you were a property manager, they don't care to see it. If you worked as a nurse, respectfully, y'all are doing God's work, but they don't care to see it. They need to see delivery experience only, okay? Delivery experience. They need to know that you know how to get things from point A to point B safely. So they need to see delivery. So if you've done DoorDash, Instacart, Uber, Spark, Lyft, Flex, any of those, that's what I'm talking about, okay? Now, if you don't have this experience, you have to put something. So put that you were an Uber driver. Nobody's calling up Uber to verify that you were an Uber driver. These companies do not verify this experience. They just like to see it. Okay, that way their behind is covered because, okay, you said that you did this before. Okay, whoever's in charge of hiring. Miss K, my license been suspended for a minute now. I get it back in December. Will I be able to work? I think as long as you don't have, I'm not going to get into your business, but no DUIs, no DWIs. I'm not saying that was why, but depending on why it was suspended, you should be fine as long as your driving record is decent. Okay, let's get into this, y'all, now. I want to show y'all, because this is where you pick your choice, y'all. I've given so many gems on this live. I give more than most people. Y'all, I started this page in January. And I just started going live in May. When I was getting ready to leave Geico, I got up on this live, right? So I haven't been up here for years. I've grown this page to over 20, I don't even know, 1,000 something. And I'm only up here for about an hour every day, and I go on about my business. I've grown this page in my community to over 470 members because I give valuable information. So if you're looking to tap in with somebody that actually does this, that's actually going to assist you in the journey of securing a contract, I'm your girl. But if you don't want it, that is fine too. You just being on my live is enough, okay? But y'all, let's not act like everybody and their mama is not up here on the TikTok shop. Y'all be on the TikTok shop. Y'all on Fashion Nova, on Amazon, getting this and that and this and that. None of that is getting you to making any money. So if you're serious, I'm here for those that want it. It is only on sale while I'm live. So if you're looking to tap in with me, you need direct assistance, y'all, because people sell guides, right? But you never hear from them. They get your money and you never hear from them ever again. With me, you have direct access to me in my Discord chat. I'm not going anywhere. Okay, you have direct access to me. You are able to message me privately. I even do one-on-one. So if you want me to do everything for you, you want me to do the resume for you, find the leads in your area for you, and then we sit down like we're on FaceTime, I do that too. So, and it comes with the ultimate guide included.